Hello and a deep soothing welcome to Mates Rate. My name is Carr, and as usual I am joined by a man who I would take a bullet for, but I would not loan him a DVD, Dan Cayzer.
Hello there. I think I'm very trustworthy, actually. How dare you?
Seriously, Dan, where's my copy of The Batman?
Oh, yeah. Where is that?
Yeah. Mates Rate is the podcast where two gentlemen of questionable sense and sensibility sit on the wooden stools of opinion in the science classroom of wasted youth and over the Bunsen burners of movie trivia dissect the ethically sourced corpses of their favourite 5 examples of a given movie topic. Before we continue, we must offer you the opportunity to bow out before we spoil some films down to their subatomic structure. To help you out, we will be putting a list of all the movies that have even the smallest of mentions in the description of the podcast. So if you're worried, pause now, go and do a little research, have a little read, and come back to us safe in the knowledge that you've seen or do not care about knowing all of these really, really old films. Care to say anything, Dan?
I'm alright.
Okay. Did you want to tell the people, Dan, what today's movie topic is? Oh, by the way, shout out to our listener in Brussels.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a regular listener in Brussels, people. If that's you, Hilda, hi, Hilda.
And if that's you, Brussels citizen, we just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
So this week's episode is all about films that have great critical reception or are very, very popular, but that we don't particularly enjoy for reasons of our own personal rage and outrage. What am I talking about?
Rage? I've got to go on record and say that none of these films causes me any rage.
Don't induce rage in your body.
I'm not that angry a person.
Yeah.
I'm quite chilled, really. So as Dan says, this is about films that have popular love, either from the critics or from the people or from the box office, that we just kind of don't get it.
Films that are considered to be very good, and some people would even say these are their favourite or their perfect films. And we look at them and go, yeah, I don't know.
They just don't do it for us. And that's not to say that they're not good. We're not trying to piss on anybody's bonfires. If you love a film, then you love a film. That's great for you. But some of these films, we just don't get it, that's all.
Some people take these things really seriously, don't they?
Yeah.
There are franchises and there are films that maybe you grew up with and that you've got a certain affinity for and that you care for. But not everyone's going to like what you like, my friend.
No, and an example is that I'm not a horror film fan. I don't particularly enjoy horror films. They don't frighten me. I just I don't get but I can understand why other people do.
You don't get what they're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's because you're dead inside.
I am dead inside, but, but very beautiful on the outside.
Yeah. It sounds to me like you've got like a superpower.
I have.
That means that you don't experience fear.
No, I don't experience fear or joy or love or hunger.
Well, I suppose it's got some downsides.
But I am a bit peckish.
Do you want to stop this?
Yeah, let's go get something to
eat. Sandwich, sausage roll.
Ooh. I love those. They make me joyful, but a little afraid. As usual, we're going to be cutting this into 2 parts. So this week's episode is going to be the first 5 picks between me and Dan. So I think my 5, 4, and 3, and Dan's 5 and 4.
I think that's right.
Yeah, that's for you.
Is that maths?
That's for you maths nerds out there. That's for the we'll slip some Pythagoras in there later.
Talking movies and doing some mathematics.
Yeah. So I'm going to kick us off today with my number 5. Coming in at number 5 for me is A Clockwork Orange.
Oh, you've gone hard against Stanley Kubrick immediately.
Well, the cubes.
Yeah.
Stanley Cube.
Stanley squared.
Stanley cubed.
Damn, I've already let the maths side.
Yeah,
of this
absolutely
episode
have.
down.
Yeah, to the power of 3, Dan. Come on. So A Clockwork Orange. I never watched it until. I mean, do you know what? I'm wondering whether or not I don't like this film. Was I watched this when I was recovering from an illness. I hadn't watched it throughout my entire youth and even my 20s and 30s. I watched it when I was around 40, when I was recovering from an illness. I was laid up in bed for a few days, and I thought I'll go through, the listings on Sky, try and find some movies that I haven't seen, and I've picked this one. I thought this is a classic film, proper classic. Let me watch it and let me see if I enjoy it, and I did not. It was horrible. A horrible, horrible, horrible film. Didn't like it. It's nasty. It needs to be burned. All the copies need to be burned and remove it from my brain, please. Now,
so you don't like it?
No. So I don't. This is the thing. This is the one movie on my list where I can honestly say I don't know if the reason I don't like it was I a little bit ill as well? Did I have a bit of a temperature while I was watching this really freaky film?
So you watched it in like a fever dream.
Yeah, I don't know. I did not like it. I know that much. It really, really upset me.
So I would say that maybe to a degree, you're not meant to like the content. You're not meant to like the character.
Why would you make that film then?
Because it's a film about, the ugly side of life.
But film's supposed to be fun. It wasn't fun. It was horrible.
Is this why you don't like horror films?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not meant to like...
I do like the Scream franchise, though. And Nightmare on Elm Street, so,
Yeah, so Malcolm McDowell's character of Alex is meant to be this... It's like hedonism and mixed with violence.
Yeah, they do this thing called ultra-violence.
Ultra-violence, yeah. And taking real pleasure and almost like, I suppose, like sexual pleasure in this violence. The scene where they break into the house and attack the man.
Is that with Darth Vader in it?
Yeah.
Is that your phone?
Yeah, which, doesn't make any noise ever, and then suddenly... Yeah, so it's Prowse, is it?
David Prowse.
Yeah, so he's the husband or the father, and he's beaten quite badly, and the wife is raped, I want to say. It's deliberately awful, and it's this this horrid youth culture of going out and being violent, and then there's supposed to be like the redemptive arc of Alex being trained not to be this way anymore, like when he's in the cinema and they've got his eyes pinned open.
Yeah, they're conditioning him, aren't they?
Yeah, and showing him all this horror to try and break him out of his own horrible tendencies. Yeah, but you are right that the content is, I suppose, it's supposed to it's meant to challenge.
Yeah.
Would you say it's holding up a mirror to the darkest parts of society and the youth?
Maybe. I think I didn't find the story that compelling. I found it just not nice. I don't know. I just didn't find anything redeemable about the film.
Do you think if it wasn't a Kubrick film, if it was made by anyone else, exactly the same film,
Steven Spielberg's A Clockwork Orange.
But do you think it wouldn't find?
Who directed Frozen? Come on, let's.
If it wasn't a director that's considered to be the edgy and master of the craft, do you think that this film would have the same kind of following? If it was exactly the same but a different director?
I think that one of the things that made it really, really popular was that it wasn't banned. So The Exorcist was banned.
Okay.
It was a film that was properly banned by the UK authorities, but I believe that A Clockwork Orange, Kubrick pulled himself.
Kubrick did it.
Yeah, I think so. So I think that the film had finished its theatrical run, and there were like protests about it, and there were people protesting outside of his home. And I think that the anti Clockwork Orange sentiment was so high that I think he pulled it himself. So yeah, Kubrick asked for the film to be taken out of circulation.
So how long was it then before we had any kind of home release for it? Then was it a long old period? Or?
Yeah, it came back in early 2000, March 2000, I believe it was. It was back in.
So it's a film of notoriety as well. So
yeah,
that might be why it's got.
I do remember it coming back.
Like a cult following.
Yeah, so I think everyone thought it was banned because it had been taken out of circulation, but I think it was at Kubrick's request.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I think I would have labelled it one of the video nasties. Like Evil Dead was stopped.
Was that
banned? Evil Dead was banned. Yeah,
was it? Wow.
Yeah, the first one, and that was during the 80s.
That perception of it being banned made it really, really like it had a cult following. It was a cult classic for that, and it was like this. It was forbidden fruit, so people wanted to watch it more, and because of that, it's got this huge following. But I still don't get it. I don't understand why people like this film. Sorry.
I know what you mean. I think some of the following of it comes from people enjoying the aesthetics of the gang.
It is very...
The bowler hat, the cod piece, the braces.
Weird little round eye makeup on one eye.
Yeah, I think people get into that, the aesthetics of that. And it does very well at Halloween, does a Clockwork Orange costume. And
what exactly is a Clockwork Orange? Like, what's that got to do with the film?
It's like a nonsense title.
It's based on a book, isn't it?
If there's some deep meaning in there, I don't know it or can't see it.
Shall we move on to your number 5?
We can do that. Okay, so the one that I've got here, this is a very popular beloved
Ooh.
film,
Ooh.
or at least it was a very popular film for a particular point in time, and I would say that it's still beloved by many.
Yeah.
But is it beloved for it being a great film, or is it beloved because of its soundtrack? And that film is The Greatest Showman.
Oh,
Hugh Jackman starring Greatest Showman.
Hugh Jackman.
Do you know? I remember when I was working with you one day, and I finished early, and I thought, I've got some time. I've got a little bit of time on my hands. I'll go to the cinema. I've heard that this film is out called The Greatest Showman. It's about P.T. Barnum. It's got Hugh Jackman in it, and I love a bit of Wolverine. Who doesn't love a bit of Wolverine?
Absolutely.
Wolverine's fantastic. So I'll go to the cinema and I'll watch this show that I believe has some stage stuff in there where they do some songs on stage. No, it was a fucking musical. The whole thing was a musical.
Very much a musical.
Oh, God, and I sat through it.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman looked at you in the eye and he sung his emotions at you.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
Obviously, Hugh Jackman's got a great singing voice. He's got
Yeah.
a great musical theatre background.
Got a musical presence, hasn't he?
Long before his mutant days, his Wolverine / Anna Dyson. He's come from
Sneaky.
a musical background. One of my favourite Hugh Jackman musical theatre anecdotes was that he was on stage, he was doing Oklahoma, and he really needed to do a wee-wee, and he couldn't leave the stage, so he just let it happen mid-song.
Oh!
Yep. My goodness.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, and he did a wee-wee on stage.
Oh, nice.
Oh. But back to The Greatest Showman. I think it's easy for a gentleman in his 30s to 40s to kind of go, that's not for me. It's a musical. It's singing and dancing, and I don't care for it. I know so many people of that demographic who really bloody like it, but I think it's because of the songs.
The
I don't
songs are
think it's
great.
the film.
The songs are great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they wear thin on me a little bit.
I like This Is the Greatest Show, that one, and I like the one that Rebecca Ferguson doesn't sing.
What a way to frame that. What are you talking? What one?
Well, Rebecca Ferguson is like the opera singer lady, but she ain't an opera singer. She's miming. Someone else is singing that song.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
How dare she?
That caused a little bit of scandal, I think, the fact that she didn't sing that
The
song.
miming.
Yeah,
Ooh.
because it's like everyone else in the show, everyone else in the film, everyone else in the film is singing their
great
own
show.
songs.
Yeah.
Like Jackman's singing, Michelle Williams is singing, Zendaya, I presume, is singing. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Zac Efron is definitely singing.
Big Zach.
He loves a bit of like High School Musical, that boy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean,
Made him.
I was entertained by the film, but God, no, I did not love it.
I struggle. It gets played in the house a little bit more than I would like because
this is your
of
fault
the
for
children,
creating daughters,
for
creating
life.
women.
It takes a man to fill a pram
What?
with a lady. I don't know.
I mean, this was going down a really wrong route. Takes a man to fill a pram with a lady.
I believe that's the very famous saying.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
This has just come from your father-in-law.
I suppose, yeah, it has.
Because he had 3 daughters and you've got 2 daughters.
Yeah, and he's like, see,
So he's
we're the
like,
same.
Takes a real man to make a woman.
Yeah,
So
I think that's the gist. So
Let's not-
well
let's not-
done.
Let's not talk
Well
about
done, me.
Let's not talk about your gist.
That's what got me in this trouble in the first place.
Absolutely.
So one of the problems that I've got with, right, if you take the music away from it, and if you take the tweeness away from it, it glamorizes P.T. Barnum, who wasn't the greatest guy in the world.
But he was the greatest showman.
Was he though? But he exploited people. He was like a slave trader. He bought people.
Hey, it was a different time.
And he put them into his greatest shows.
Yeah.
And he would say, hey, he owned women and said these women are 160 years old, oldest people in the world, which was just rubbish. And he just used them to bring in his audiences. He was a bad guy. I'm going to say might be One of the worst people in history.
You hear about all these people in like Okinawa and in Japan about like the old people who live on a diet of rice and fresh fish and like live to 140. You hear about these? Do you know what it really is?
Well, I've never heard of anyone living to 140.
Well, they were the ones that sort of claim to have all the records for like the oldest people in the world.
Okay.
Do you know what it is? It's pension fraud. It's people dying and their kids carrying on pretending.
Oh, they're still alive. Keep giving us the...
Yeah. There's a really famous case of a woman in France as well who like lived to, I think it's like 125.
No. And it's,
but it's pension fraud.
Yeah.
That's apparently what it is. Apparently it's pension fraud. It's just somebody claiming their mum's pension. Oh, yes, no, I'm I'm Barbara.
I'm still ticking.
And I look good for 125, which is actually only 100, which is still pretty good. Yeah. But yeah.
Wow. And where was this done?
Japan and France. And the place in Japan, I think, is like Okinawa or something. Like where Mr. Miyagi was from. I think he was from Okinawa.
Lovely.
And they claim that it's this fresh fish and rice diet, like it's the wholesome diet, but it's not. Do you know what the number one selling food stuff is in this place that has all these people that claim to be that old?
No.
Spam.
Ooh.
So it is, and that's before, for all you youngsters out there, spam's actually a food stuff, not just what you get in your email.
I mean, foodstuffs. That's quite strong. Quite a strong description of
spam.
A pink lump that comes out of a can.
Absolutely.
I don't like spam.
Mashed up whatever animal came by.
Animals, I reckon.
Yeah.
Bits off.
Whatever animals drifted into the grinder. The Greatest Showman, I think, is a very entertaining film. I do not understand why it got quite so big. I think you're right. It's just the music.
It's just the music. I mean, you can like it or not. I think the music is undeniably well produced and catchy.
Yeah. And
deliberately so. And people have been bamboozled by the soundtrack. It's the end of that.
So, right, shall we move on to my next one? I'm going to get controversial now.
Let's see what happens.
This is a film from...
Brace yourself, everybody.
This is a film from one of my favourite directors, my very favourite directors.
Ooh.
He's fantastic, and I love almost all of his work. And even this film, I enjoy it. I do. But I just don't get why it's so beloved.
Go on.
It's Inception.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
you've gone after Christopher Nolan.
I'm not going after Christopher Nolan. I love Christopher Nolan, and I like this film. I do. I just don't get why it's beloved. People sort of say, "Well, it's so complex." It's not really. It's pretty basic, to be honest. I think what Christopher Nolan does. I mean, we've talked about it before. He loves messing with time, so he does a bit of that. He loves like being innovative in how to film things. So he did the whole scene of the rotating hotel corridor and things like that.
Yeah, the kind of anti-gravity.
Yeah, and it was sort of like the first one, certainly in the mainstream, where we saw that effect of like a city turning over on itself. I think we've seen it a lot in Doctor Strange since then.
That kind of geometric folding of landscapes, yeah.
And so it's a great film.
Asian.
I think it rests a lot of its reputation on the fact it's that last scene where you don't know whether it's reality or not. And, and everyone goes, oh my God, he's a genius. We don't know if it's reality or not. And it's like, well, no, that kind of doesn't make him a genius. That just means he went, I'm just going to fuck with people.
I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave it on a question at the end.
It's like, well, I actually prefer a conclusion myself. But it just doesn't do it for me. I know you're a big fan. Do you
I'm
want
a big fan. I don't know if I'm not going to fight you on this. I do really enjoy it. I do wonder if so Nolan was able to make Inception, which was like a passion project, off of the success of Batman Begins. Yeah, he made that was a big movie, made a lot of money.
Love it.
Brought his name way up into the public consciousness of he was making incredible stuff before that, but people might not have known the man and the name. Yeah, Inception kind of rode on the Batman success, and but I mean, I really did. I enjoyed it at the cinema. I've watched it many times afterwards. I don't think there's too much more to get from it from repeat viewings.
No.
People say, "Oh, you've got to watch it again and again and again to work out all the clues." And I say, I don't know if that's true. I enjoy it as a great entertaining film.
Well, you see,
I think it's really good.
So I preferred, if we're talking about Christopher Nolan's work, I preferred Tenet to this. I loved Tenet. I thought it was great.
My good God.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really good. It was Christopher Nolan's Bond film. It was this spy film,
Mm.
and it had him playing with time. And I just thought that the way they did that was so good. And they crashed an entire plane into a terminal or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was terminal. Wasn't really. The whole stuff about them moving forward in time while the rest of the scene is moving backward in time, I thought that was amazingly well done. I did not find it confusing in the slightest. I know lots of people did.
Yeah, a lot of people don't enjoy that film or found it too hard to follow.
Timey-wimey.
Didn't get the gist of the main point of it. I think Inception's really is an excellent film. I enjoy the performances. I think there are elements of it where it gets a little bit, not confusing, but it kind of, for a film I really like, goes up its own bottom a little bit. You know what I mean?
It's a little bit pretentious.
Yeah, a little bit.
It incepts itself into its own arsehole.
I do enjoy. I enjoy that possible or perceived ambiguity at the end of. No, I think the point isn't meant to be at the end that it does that we don't know if you're in the dream world or the real world. I think it's meant to be that the DiCaprio's character of Cobb doesn't care anymore because he's decided that he's going to be there for his children and he's going to put the loss of his wife behind him and not let that haunt him anymore. I think that's supposed to be the message at the end. What I like is what Michael Caine said, which was, he said, any scenes that I'm in, I'm told that's the real world.
The real world, yeah.
And I believe Caine's at the end as well,
is.
when DiCaprio's character comes home. So, yeah, if you want, I wouldn't say it's definitive, just because of what an actor was told on set, but I like Michael Caine's rationale and his brush off of it. It's kind of like there is no question. If I'm there, it's real.
Yeah.
If I'm in this scene, then it's a real bloody scene. And I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. No, I really do enjoy it. I think it's worth. When I say it's worth rewatching, I don't mean like to go back in and to dissect it and get any more out of it. I just think it's got some nice repeatability to it.
Yeah, so I've seen it twice now. I saw it once a long time ago, and then I saw it once for a rewatch fairly recently because so many people kept telling me how good it was, and I thought, well, maybe I'll give it another go.
Yeah.
And then I did, and I was like, yeah, I didn't regret watching it again. It was fine.
I think there's points of it, like we talk about its pretension. I think it is trying to be too clever for its own good, or have layers of it that are, flexing its intellectualness in the writing. For example, the thing about the character names and how they make a anagram.
No, I don't know this. Please,
so I
please
can't.
enlighten me.
You've got, I think it's their first names.
Okay.
So DiCaprio was Dominic Cobb or Dom Cobb.
Okay.
In it, but they use their surnames quite a lot as well.
Cobb.
So yeah, you've got Dom, Robert, Eames, Arthur, Mal, and Sciato. And it spells dreams when you put those characters' names together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, it's nice, but is it just that little bit of extra, like, look how clever I'm being?
I mean,
in the screenwriting.
I think Christopher Nolan does like to be clever.
Yeah.
But that's all right. He is clever.
But but you have to go and find that for yourself. It's not like they put it out there in the film and go, look how clever it is in the film.
My dad would absolutely hate that.
Why?
Because he basically...
Do you find it pretentious?
He gets annoyed at films that make him work. He wants them to work and him to sit down and enjoy.
I paid money for this.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't work for you.
Exactly.
I don't know, final point on Inception from me maybe was...
Please.
Elliot Page, then Ellen Page, during the filming and making of Inception. I believe the character name that Ellen Page played is said maybe once.
Oh, really?
In the film. And I remember being slightly annoyed that I hadn't caught it.
Okay.
And so, because, the rest of the film goes on and her name isn't said out loud again. So I went back, and when that character is introduced to Michael Caine's character, for the first time by DiCaprio. The name is Ariadne, which I
Like?
thought was very nice.
Oh,
And I liked it so much that I named my daughter Ariadne.
is that what her name is?
And that's what her name is. So
do you know what?
It's a little bit more than that, because the Paige's character in the film is all about designing maps, mazes.
She's the architect, isn't she?
The architect, and working out these mazes, and that goes back to your Greek myth of the Minotaur, the maze. Is it Perseus? And Ariadne is she's the one who gives him the thread, the red thread, to work his way back through the maze. So again, it's Nolan going back into the myth, the mythos legends to be quite a clever dick.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
the film is still bullshit. Let's go.
So that's the end of that, everyone. Did you like that film, everyone? Well, you're wrong.
I was going to make a joke.
Weirdly,
I was going to make a joke earlier, but I didn't get it in there.
Oh,
Which is when you said you named your daughter Ariadne. I was like, is that what her name is? You know, you said it a lot when she was young, but I just couldn't quite catch it. So I've just called her Hey You since then.
so my number 4,
Number 4.
relatively modern film.
Oh,
We're going back only a handful of years. Is the film Us
I've not seen Us.
from
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele.
I like Jordan Peele's comedy
I like
work.
Jordan
I really
Peele.
liked Get Out.
And
Really liked Get Out.
and
was
that
great.
that brings us straight into why I came away from this film a little cold. And it's not because the film is inherently bad or has overly bad qualities that I didn't enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
It's that Get Out for me was an excellent film. Fantastically paced, great commentary.
So good.
And then Us, I was expecting again there's social commentary in Us, absolutely, but maybe it's lost on me a little bit. Maybe it's lost on me as an Englishman. Maybe it's more of an American film
Maybe.
on some of the elements that it goes through. This kind of hands across America thing, that this trope that comes up. But yeah, on me, I just came away, I suppose my expectations were up. I believed in Jordan Peele. I believed in this new director who wanted to tell these stories, who was very passionate about filmmaking and would say things like, I'm going to concentrate on telling stories with black characters for black audiences. So Peele made these quite bold claims about he didn't want to work with non-black actors. He wanted the stories to be about black characters. I don't know about crew, but he's been on the record a few times to say that that's what he's interested in, and he's not interested in having, I think, maybe like main characters. It's because like he wouldn't have just an exclusively black cast, but I think like the main characters of his stories are about black experience.
Get Out clearly had quite a mixed cast of characters.
I suppose I put a lot of stock into Peele as this new kind of amazing director, to be honest. And there was just elements of Us. I think particularly as the film went on, it starts very strong. And as it went on, I don't know, my enthusiasm for the film and its director waned.
Really?
As I watched it. And, you know, and it's got twists and turns, and there's a twist at the end that I saw coming a mile away. Okay. But it was
without giving
go on.
Without giving the twist away. Cause
yeah,
I would like to see it.
I'm not saying it's not a bad film by any stretch. It's got fantastic elements to it and great acting, great soundtrack. It's a very enjoyable film. It just, again, it's a bit like with you feeling you were sick when you watched Clockwork Orange. I went into the cinema going, this is going to be amazing. And yeah, I just came away a little bit disappointed. And then I worried about what Nope was going to be like. And I loved that. I thought that was great.
Nope was fantastic. It got a bit weird at the end. But Nope was fantastic.
Yeah. Like, sit. What a good dog.
I don't know if you heard that, but Dan just told me to sit, and I did.
Did it professionally and amicably. So yeah, like I say, the acting throughout, the main family cast are absolutely excellent. All of the actors play these these dual roles, the good version of themselves and this kind of underground clone, angry, bad version of themselves. In particular, the lead actress, Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah,
That's how I'm going to pronounce her name.
That's
I
how it looks like it
apologise
should be
to her,
pronounced.
friend of the podcast. And she plays this evil version of herself with this amazing voice that she affects. And they're great. I say these two characters played by the same actress bouncing off of each other, they're fantastic. But just as the film goes on, it gets kind of stranger, or it maybe the main theme of it feels like it's kind of slipping away from you a little bit. And I just came away thinking I wanted that to be better. So I don't know if that's a bad review of something. I wanted just a little bit more on it, a little bit of the sprinkles on top of it weren't there for me. You know.
Yeah, no, well, I can relate to that with other films, but I've not seen it. I do want to see it. Lupita Nyong'o, she was in Black Panther, was she?
Yeah, she is in Black Panther, but she is absolutely rules us. You know, she leads and she leads the film, the family that's in it. Yeah, she's fantastic, and like I say, like the soundtrack, the different arrangements of I've Got Five on it are absolutely fantastic.
I've Got Five on it.
I love it. I really do. But
okay,
where I would go back and watch Get Out.
Us has also got Winston Duke in it, who plays
also
M'Baku.
Of Black Panther fame. Yeah. So it's got Black Panther alum. But where I would go back and watch Get Out, and where I would go back and watch Nope, I don't know if I need to see Us again. Really, I think there probably are little kind of hints and Easter eggs that lead you to that twist, that moment at the end. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to go down as a shining star in his filmography over the next few decades. You know,
I'll watch it and I'll say
it's worth it.
But yeah, it's worth it. But it's on your list of people rave about it, and you're not so sure.
People tell me that it's almost perfect, and I disagree, I'm afraid. I think the problem with what we're doing now is that I like mostly everything. I kind of struggle with...
Well, so far on my list, I've had A Clockwork Orange, don't like it. Inception, I do like Inception, yeah. I just don't get why people think it's the best film ever. Shall we move on to my number 3?
I think I need you to do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna.
Oh.
Now that you want me to.
Well, I suppose, should we just... Do you want to stop recording?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, everyone, I'm really sorry. Gareth will not be peer pressured into
I will not.
revealing.
I will not be owned by you.
No. So we'll see you next time, unless, of course, Gareth doesn't want to do it anymore.
You're not the boss of me. Okay, my number 3 is a controversial one. It's really controversial because I know a lot of people love this film. It is known as The Big Lebowski.
Oh, you don't like The Big Lebowski?
I don't like The Big Lebowski. I enjoyed it to a degree.
You don't like it, and thus all the people that do like it, you're against them.
I feel like they're not my friends.
They're not your people.
They're not my people. I don't want to know any of them. If you like The Big Lebowski, you just stay the fuck away. No. Do you know what? I've watched it recently, like last night. Except for I haven't quite finished it yet. I'm about 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah.
So I because I hadn't seen it in like 15, 20 years. I don't know how old this film is.
But you have beef with it. What's your your core beef?
My beef is that the film is fine. The premise is fine. It's full of a cast of amazing actors and actresses who give outstanding performances. But it just doesn't work for me. It's sort of like slow and pondering. It's a bit like the dude himself. It's just like it's just the narrative structure just doesn't really do it for me. I don't get why everybody loves it.
Yeah.
Why do they love it, Dan? Why do you love it?
I think it's become a very quotable film. I think it's got great comedic moments. It's got these great set pieces like the dream sequence when he gets knocked out.
But that was another thing that I didn't get it. It's just like
why it was
there's a couple of dream sequences in there. There's the one where he gets knocked out. There's another one before there.
One where he's flying.
Yeah, Yeah, one where he's flying, he grabs
Yeah.
a bowling ball and he falls to the earth. It's okay. I just it doesn't. Yeah.
You don't get what the style or
No.
the style needs.
No, and I think I struggle to get behind Jeff Bridges as the dude.
Now you're starting to tread on.
I mean, this may have been
tread on
recently.
toes here.
This may have been recently ruined for me by Thor in Endgame. Oh God, the dude Thor. That was so annoying.
Oh, that's affected your enjoyment of
The Big Lebowski.
Of Lebowski.
Retroactively, yes, absolutely.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, let's go through the cast of characters.
References of the film have affected the film
Well,
for you?
not really. No, I just the dude is fine. He's okay, but he's just kind of like haphazardly going through the narrative, and he's got an absolute shiftless idiot friend in John Goodman, who he keeps getting steered incredibly wrong by, and it's just like, why would you? Okay.
He's not a particularly strong protagonist, is it? Because like he seems strong-willed at times, but yeah, he is led by nearly everyone else.
Yeah, he just lets the story happen to him, which I suppose that there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's the character that they wanted to make, and that's the film that they wanted to make. And I can kind of appreciate the film. I just don't get why everybody loves it.
Yeah.
And I don't think quotable is enough of a reason.
No.
So you can just back the fuck down there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I will fight you.
Quotable.
What are we fighting about?
I don't know. I love you, Dan.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's got Jeff Bridges, John Goodman, Julianne Moore, Steve Buscemi, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Love the Hoffman.
Peter Stormare. It's got David Thewlis in there. John Turturro.
Yeah.
Turturro, sorry.
Who's going to put a gun up your ass and pull the trigger until it goes click?
You flash a piece out on the lanes, I'll take it away from you and stick it up your ass and pull the fucking trigger till it goes click.
Quite quotable, that film.
Yeah, it's not a good enough reason. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. I mean, I get that lots of people love this film, and I respect their opinions. I do, but still, nah.
I suppose they enjoy the characters. They enjoy the directors. Maybe I don't agree with what I'm about to say now, but maybe it's kind of like it's riding the success of their other projects.
Maybe
Fargo, etc.
Maybe that one didn't do it for me either.
Didn't do that. Oh
no. Maybe I'm just
Fargo's
not a
good.
big Coen.
Yeah.
fan. Should we?
And that's okay,
Yeah.
Gareth. That's okay.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want in your life.
Thanks, Dan.
I won't judge you.
You will. You
But
judge
our
me all the
audience
time.
might.
You send me letters as to what I've done wrong. You
Yeah,
judge me
I
all the
go
time.
snail mail.
Yeah, you
I
actually
put
do.
effort into
You
it.
do, and second-class stamps as well. Not even first-class.
In this economy, you're not getting first class notes from me.
Cheap. So, should we move on to your number 3?
Let's
was my
do
number
it.
3.
Okay, so I don't know if it's going to be as controversial as what you were just talking about, but Dune, the remake and release of Dune. Was it 21?
What?
2021 was it?
The actual bajingus.
Balls am I talking about?
Yes.
Was it
Dune.
Denis Villeneuve?
Denis Villeneuve, yeah.
Dune. Denis Villeneuve. That film is beautiful. It looks incredible throughout.
It's fantastic.
I think it's got fantastic special effects.
Oh, it's
I love all
glorious.
The transport design, like the Dragonfly helicopters that they've got.
You know, we were talking about Chris Nolan earlier.
Yeah.
You know that the reason that Hans Zimmer did not score Tenet was because he was offered the opportunity to do
Doing Dune.
and he was a huge fan of the Frank Herbert book,
The source material.
So that's
His dark source material.
So Zimmer scored
Jumped on Dune. Yeah.
We talked about Dune before, haven't we?
Have we?
Yeah, we talked about the fact
the
that it's
hell
a
did we say?
fucking part 1.
Oh God, yeah. That was
We were in the cinema and it said Dune, and I looked down to my right and I was like, oh, the title card's come up. Dune. I looked down to my right to adjust my drink, and I hear you gasp audibly or make some sort of
what?
Yeah, make some sort of disgruntled squeak.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about that.
No, and I looked back up and the title had gone, and I was like, Dan, my compatriot, my friend, Dan, my longtime buddy, Dan.
And I said,
What?
we've been
What's up?
tricked.
And you
We've
said
been
you- yeah.
tricked. We've
You
been
said-
duped.
You said that the veil has been
Duped
pulled
by
over our
Dune.
eyes.
Yeah.
And
It was because it's a part 1 of
and
2.
it's a part 1, which was
And,
nowhere on on the material.
Did not know that was coming.
Nowhere on the trailers, nowhere on the promotional material anywhere. It was just called Dune. It wasn't called Dune Part fucking 1. But anyway, I love this film.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. I might watch it again in preparation for part 2, of which sadly I don't know if I care. It just felt like a lot happens in that film, and yet it felt like nothing happens.
This was a beautiful film. It was so good.
I just struggled.
It was so good.
Did I struggle to follow it? I don't think so. I just felt like it was going on and on and on. I'm sorry, Gareth. I'm sorry you feel so impassioned by this film. But I mean, going back to the original version as well, I don't know if I.
That's got Sting in it.
Yeah, and his metal pants.
Yeah. And his very ginger hair.
Oh yeah. Which really offset the pants.
Yeah.
So fashion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't remember loving that at the time.
No,
either.
I mean, it was sort of around 1980, I think, and it was a very difficult film.
Ambitious.
Yeah, a very ambitious book to adapt into a film.
Yeah.
And I think that they did the whole book, whereas Denis Villeneuve, as we've already
cut in half like a cheetah.
Cut in half like a twat.
Yeah.
No, I thought this was great. I thought it had some absolutely fantastic performances in it. I thought that the
What did you think of Timothée Chalamet?
I mean,
the most beautiful boy in the world.
I don't understand why he's some sort of phenomenon at the
No,
moment,
same.
but he was fine. Yeah, he was great. Oscar Isaac was great.
I don't know if great was the right word. I like Oscar Isaac in almost everything.
Oscar Isaac, a friend of mine, really hates Oscar Isaac. I don't know why. But yeah, I think he's great. He's really good in everything.
He is good in that. And maybe my reasoning for not liking it is not just the fact that the movie industry is trying to get double bubble from me, and that they want me to go and watch this sequel later on.
So what are you suggesting? You're saying that instead of making like 1 2.5 hour film as a part 1, they should have made 1 5-hour film and have the whole thing there for you.
No, I think
you just wanted to pay your £10 or £15 to go and see it in one hit.
I think I should be subsidised when the second film comes around.
I'll pay for you.
I think that's nice. I think that the film, that the first half of the story isn't enough to make that film stand up on its own as well as it should. To get the admiration and again, it's beautiful. The cinematography is lovely. I find the acting fine. I wasn't enthralled by anybody.
They do an awful lot of world building in part 1, and I think
that might be it.
It detracts a little bit from the story, but they are introducing an awful lot of concepts because it's one of the so Dune and I think it's Isaac Asimov's Foundation were sort of both book series that were set tens of thousands of years in humanity's future. So it's not like Star Wars where it's an alternate reality or whatever in a galaxy far, far away, not actually humans, they just look human. This is humanity's future. So you've got to build up what's happened or how this world works. And I think they do that very well. They introduce like the different factions of people. They introduce the technology, the personal shield. And I think he does a really good job of explaining to you how all these things work visually and in the landscape without making it feel like you're being instructed, without making it feel like this is a lesson, we're going to tell you everything.
I think that's how I came away from it.
Jesus Christ, man, would you stop disagreeing with every fucking thing I'm saying?
I do.
Everything.
I felt like all of that world building was kind of, it's like it feels like that this first part of these 2 films is like the first act of most films, and it's the stuff that you've got to get over to get into the meat of the story and the film. That's how I felt watching it. That I'm watching a lot of setup and, like you say, world building, and giving me my way into the story, and then not having any payoff because I've got to wait years and years and years for the sequel.
Can I ask you, in Greatest Showman, we talked about
Rebecca Ferguson. I don't think many people have compared these 2 films, but carry on.
Well, I'm just wondering if you got something against Rebecca Ferguson. She's in this one too. What's up with you, man? Are you like a misogynist? What's going on?
No, didn't you say that she did a lot of miming?
And Zendaya. What's up with you?
Didn't you say there was a lot of miming in Greatest Showman?
Why do you hate women, Dan?
I don't hate women. I hate liars. I hate.
Zendaya didn't do any miming, but yet you've picked the 2 films that she's in. What's up with you?
You've gone down a weird path, and you're trying to get me in trouble. You probably succeed.
Yay!
I'm in trouble all the time anyway, so
Well,
it's like
anyway,
water off a duck's back.
I think we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one. I love this film. I think it's fantastic.
I'm very interested to see what happens, in my opinion, when the second film is out and available, and I've seen them in this massive 5 or 6 hour block that I'm going to make you sit through.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I've never done this with a film, but I will be more than happy to do a, like when it comes out, they do like a back to back. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that, because then when it comes up with part 1 on the screen, you won't be audibly sick
I
the way
won't feel.
you were.
I won't feel tricked.
Yeah. Well, speaking of part 1, that's it. That's the end of the first 3 entries of each of our lists of the cinematic phenomena of films that suck that most people love. I kid, of course. We will be back next time with our top 2s, and they are extremely controversial, so you don't want to miss that. We will also chip in some honourable mentions. If you did enjoy the show, please like, share and subscribe. Dan's not here while I'm recording this, so on his behalf, no, be yourself, do what you want. But anyway, most importantly, please tell all of your friends to listen to us, because we live off of people's positive energy. And if you didn't enjoy the show, well, there's no reason to tell anyone, is there? Is there? If you have any questions or comments, you can send them directly to us at our newly created email address, matesratepod@gmail.com. So until the next time we mosey down your ear canals, please take care of yourselves, and we will catch you soon. We will catch you. Bye. What the fuck's Dan talking about?
Danny Villeneuve. Meow.